Hello, everyone. Welcome to the day after Root Day, where I give a kind of YouTube version of what I went over yesterday in Root Day and help you get started on joining Root and contributing to the CS community if you're interested in that. So first, let's go over our agenda and see, okay, so we're going to go over what Root Staff is, how you can join and learn about it. We're going to go over how the CSUA can help you if you join Root Staff. We're going to go over essential projects as well as long-term planning, and then we're finally going to go over discussion. So what does the CSUA do? We do community, all sorts of things, community events like workshops, socials, general meetings, company events, all sorts of different types of events. We maintain a lot of resources, including GPU cluster, website, and YouTube channels you're watching this on. We maintain a community on Discord and Slack, and offline we do a bunch more stuff, but in the interest of making this a short, sweet tutorial, I'm gonna keep it short. So what does Root do? Well, we enable all of that. We manage the accounts and the servers that people use. We manage the website where people find information, the mail server where people get sent emails and get notified of things, the web services like the Slack and Discord bots, and the CSV PCs and other stuff there. And sometimes in the CSV code base, we'll hide Easter eggs. So next question is, where do we do this? And the answer is that there's two main places. There are the CSUA servers like Tap, Soda, Latte, and our RAID array. And basically almost everything is hosted on there. And we keep the code on the CSUA GitHub, which I'll go over in a second. So here is basically what Root does, right? These are the kind of order of getting involved with Root and helping out, right? So I'm going to keep it simple here. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to do a small starter project. This can be anything you want, but it's any small contribution to the code that's not on a critical feature. So a standard one that I recommend is making a small feature addition to the Discord bot. So after that, you've kind of gotten started with Root, you know how to contribute. We're going to start addressing GitHub issues. And once you finish addressing a GitHub issue, we'll make a pull request and progressively kind of merge it in. So to kind of get started on this, I'm going to do a demonstration of the starter project speedrun. There's a starter project, and it's going to be a little bit of a speedrun where I'm going to add in a feature and kind of go from there. So I think the, key thing here is that I'm going to assume knowledge of basic Python as well as Git. So if you don't have that, there's lots of great online tutorials. In the interest of time, I'm going to kind of keep this short and sweet. So, hello. So right now I'm going to go over the instructions about how to, we're going to go over the instructions about how you can start contributing and start joining Root Staff. So to join Root Staff, either basically by being here and contacting me, you're already well on your way. The main thing that we start out with is a starter project. And at any time, if you have questions about any of this, reach out to me on either Slack or Discord or Messenger. The CSUA Slack, CSUA Discord, and the CSUA Messenger. Ideally, post in the CSUA Slack's Root Staff channel, where all the other Root Staff are going to be to help answer questions. So first things first, we're going to go clone the CSUA backend Git. I have this plugin in my shell that kind of fills in the last command that use this. So I'm going to just do this git clone. Now, once I do this git clone, I'm going to go inside. And there's this nice bootstrap code. And so if you want the details of what's going on in this bootstrap code, I would recommend you go to our website, which I will pull up in one moment. So if you go to our website, or sorry, not our website, if you go to our GitHub, if you go to our GitHub, let me resume share. It is csua/csua backend. What you can see is that we have this installation tutorial. I'm going to just do this like very simple, bootstrap.sh. But if you want to do something that's a bit more complicated, or want to do it using a conda environment or something like that, the instructions are relatively straightforward. There's not much happening here. So I'm going to do it both ways. So I'm basically following these instructions. So first, let's test this bootstrap model by just running the script. And then after we finish testing that bootstrap model, I'll do this more involved installation. Okay, so let's go back to here. So I'm just going to do bash bootstrap.sh, run it. That's, oh no, I don't have a Python, I don't have a virtual env. So what do I have to do here beforehand? I have to install VM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a module called VM. And this is going to create a new virtual environment. So if you wanted to use something like a conda or something different like that, that's also an option. So if you just install VM and run this bootstrap script, it will do pretty much everything for you. So it'll install the requisite packages, it'll set up the server, all that stuff. So we'll just give it a second here. And after this is done, I'll run the server and go from there. So we finished installing all the packages. Now it's going to migrate all the relevant data. And so then after that, I'm going to do Python 3 manage.py run server. Oops. Oh, and I made another mistake. And what is the mistake that I made? When you're working with this virtual environment, you need to make sure that you're using that Python version. So here we're going to go vn, like in our virtual environment, we have this custom version of Python. And so we're going to use that Python to manage the server. So if I use vn bin Python, manage.py run server, that's going to be set up. Okay, and then here I can copy and paste this. Oops, I accidentally shut down the server, but copying and pasting. I'm going to switch over to here and just go to this website. And awesome, I have a local version of the Csua website. And so when you're testing out edits to the Csua website, you can just start from here. Now, I'm going to kind of further show you how to make a small, quick edit to the Csua website and have it appear on this host. So let's go back to here. Now, all these instructions, by the way, are going to be in the GitHub README. So don't worry if you're to check there if you're confused about anything, right? So there's two things that I will do now. I'm going to start from the top and do the steps in this bootstrap script manually. And in addition, I'm going to kind of make a change to the website and show you how it updates. So let's make a quickly. Let's start by I guess go back here and start from the top just to remind everyone. So I'm going to remove that. Generally don't use rf star because I think it's going to happen. It removes everything in the entire directory. This is a specific tutorial directory I made for this purpose. So, okay, and then here I'm going to kind of start it from the top. And I'm also going to use conda instead of virtual env. So if you have installed Conda and want to use that, that's kind of how you would use this. So yes, I'm just going to use this base Conda environment, and what I'm going to do is install the requirements txt. This installs all the requirements you need for this. Install that. And oh, look, I've already installed it. And then if you're using Conda, now what you can do next is that you need to run migrate with manage.py. Oh, sorry, I forgot to skip. So before you do the migration, you need to copy this envdev file to end. And if you're like, what's that? How am I going to remember that? Just remember, I'm just following these instructions, which are on here. So you copy this envdev file to your .env file. So I'm just following these instructions. If you use Conda, you need to use like Python 3. If you're not using Conda, you need to use if you're not using Conda, then make sure you're using that, or using virtual env. Make sure you're using that virtual env script. And I'm going to call it server. And then I'm going to go use share back to here, and then test it again, and it works. So that's two ways to get the development suite working. Now, let's quickly test making a change. Now, this is going to be a local change, so we're not going to actually push this change. But let's say the way that Django is organized in our GitHub is that there's a bunch of files. So if I go through these files, each of them kind of focus on a different part. Apps has each of the like subcomponents of our project. So if I look at apps, or let me do also it's on each on a separate line. We have the CSUA backend app, the database that we have, the Discord bot, LDAP, which handles user accounts, our main page, the new users, which handles making new users, Outreachers handles some of our marketing, the password reset tool, the Slack bot, and a tracker. Just to kind of track that. And the tracker keeps track of who has logged into the computers in the office. So you can see if any computers are available. So with that being said, these are the kind of tools that like will edit. I'm going to actually go to the, so actually let's finish going through these before I get to there. So that's apps, fixtures is fixtures, CSVL. It basically has a bunch of these files, which keep track of some of the data about how we like organize. It keeps track of like some of the like LDAP information for the accounts and how we organize that. So you won't have to mess with that most likely. Media root keeps track of like the images we have. So here, we have like the pictures of the officers for our. Oh no, this is the old one. So if you go to officers, so the officers is not on this one. So that's something that we put on our mobile one. So a lot of the images aren't committed to there, which is how it's supposed to be. Because you shouldn't be editing the images to GitHub. So yeah, most of the images aren't there. And then what else is left? Scripts has just like the script if you want to like run the run everything. So if you go to script/deploy and look at that file, this is the script that we use to run the actual file on tap. So if you want to when you are eventually in the position I'm in of TechVP, that's when you'll use these scripts. Right now, they're not really a big deal. And then probably the other one you'll have to add or modify in addition to apps is templates if you want to do any of the web dev. And so templates just has each of our pages, what it looks like. So for example, look at the join page, it has the picture information, some scripts that aren't part of base HTML, but as part of this part of Django. Excuse me. And it's calling these. It has the paragraphs, the information. So in summary, there's a bunch of stuff here. Here's what you care about. You care about apps, and you care about templates. Templates is the pages. Apps are like kind of like the tools on the backend that are used by those pages to generate the content. Okay, so let's make a quick edit to our join page. So I think that, what do I want to take? Okay, I think that like our page is not good enough, right? So right now, if you look at our page and click on join. Oh, I forgot to run the server. That's the issue. Yeah, here. And I'm going to do a tmux action. Ignore it. Don't worry about that. That's just some of the thing I'm messing around with. So if I do my conda activate and I do my run server, I forgot to so it's for I can install this one. So I guess I did something when I was doing earlier. Unless it's using the wrong Python 3. Why is it doing that? Okay, that's a tmux thing, that little tmux thing, which is why we sometimes use VM. Oh, it seems like it's using the wrong. That's a separate installation. It's just for some reason interviewed it. But if you're having issues with like Python 3 not loading the files correctly, here's a little tip. Make sure that like the which command can tell you which Python rich pip that you're using. And this is one quick way to debug errors. So for example, I was using Linux Brew to test out some like different automatic install scripts for my setup here. And so I was testing it out earlier, and apparently when I was opening tmux with my most recent setup, it doesn't correctly switch to the Anaconda environment. So this is where Anaconda keeps their stuff. It should normally be binded correctly. If you, for some strange reason, have a similar bug to what I do, this is a good trick, and just use the one you want. So, sorry, I don't want Anaconda, I want Miniconda, because that's what I'm using actually. Miniconda is just Anaconda, but with like less like packages, well, like automatically added in. Anaconda is like a bigger package by default. Miniconda is smaller by default. So if I use Miniconda here, awesome, we're loading correctly. So now if I go here and I go to join, yes, awesome. So if I go to officers, oh no, officers doesn't exist because I haven't added in the database and officers and all that stuff. That's in the regular one, but join exists. So when you're testing things out, right now I'm looking at, I think this is not a good description. Our tech VP at, here. No, that's not good enough. So I'm going to edit this templates.join.html, and I'm going to look up tech VP, and I'm going to say glorious, wondrous, phenomenal. Phenomenon, actually, that's the phenomenon. Tech VP. And I'm also going to change this to say at csua.slack.com. Name is Ani. Okay. And if you want to, if you have a more reasonable mindset and normal self-expectations, you can change this to our usually busy and old senior tech VP at csua.slack.com. Okay, so I make this change. Okay, I'm going to, reload the server, and are usually busy and old TagRepeat at csv.slack.com. So that's kind of how you make these edits. So the next step is, okay, I want to kind of make a pull request, make some change. So here's the policy for that. Normally, you're going to make a fork of this and upload to that fork. If you have, if you join the root staff and finish this project, you'll get added to the CSUA backend, and life will be good. I'm gonna add. Oh, sorry, I should not use cool little tricks. So I can't spell. So git add this template. Once I add this template, I can make a commit. Fix description. And if you have to use a fork, this is where you would use a fork instead. But here I'm going to check out b fake PR, and then I'm going to git push okay. So once I push that change, I can go to the CSUA backend. This is our CSUA website, and I'm going to make a pull request here, and I'm going to create this pull request. And I'm a bad, pull request maker, so I don't add it. You should add a description. You should add, all the other stuff. Make this good. And then here you go. That's the process for kind of making a contribution to the CSUA. What are you going to do? Well, you're either going to, so there's, I guess, two good startup projects. One, if you want to make a small like wording fix or grammar fix or something like that to our website that you find, that's an acceptable starter project PR. The other starter project PR that a lot of people are doing is to go to our Discord bot under apps, go to the bot, and edit and add in their own automatic meme reaction, right? So if we go to this, I should probably pause it so I don't show. Okay, resume share. Oops, I need to share Discord. So we're discussing here. If I type in trees are bad, it'll automatically, Philbot will automatically react with the tree. Okay, so you add a little feature in like that, and there's some examples here. So, we have like, HK and IEEE, tree, drip, XKCD, base, all sorts of random stuff. So you can add your own. Okay, that's kind of the starter project. If you have questions, reach out to me on Slack, Discord, or Messenger. Preferably Slack root staff channel because other people can help you too. Okay. And yeah, here's an example of one of the recent and more ambitious starter projects, which I'm going to approve after this. And basically what it does is it gives an automatic XKCD. So if I go here and type XKCD, it will automatically load an XKCD. And that's like pretty cool. Actually, I'm not sure if it's showing this, but if I type in, okay, here we go. Now it should be showing it. If I type in XKCD, it will automatically create the title, issue, description, and all that stuff, which is like ambitious. You don't need to do that, but if you want to, you can do something fun like that. Okay, once that's done, we'll go to the GitHub issues and assign you to an issue, right? So there's some issues with that you can address this, and that we'll talk about which one of those you can address. But hopefully this gives you an idea about how to kind of start tackling this. Okay, so that's here. Oh, and then when you actually make a PR, follow the instructions on the website about how to make a test, edit a test. What I did didn't really require one, I can show essentially something that requires a test. So let's go to new Discord bot here. So here you can see the Discord bot tests.py. You can add in your own tests. So right now, these are some of the basic tests we added earlier. But you can look into this test at apps Discord bot test.py and add your own test if you're doing this for a startup project. Okay, but that's the overview of like what you need to do to like start the path upgrade. So that's like what you need to do. Let's cover how you can just check for stuff. So I'll link this here, csua.org/rootwiki, the various readmes, or this doc called the server doc are great ways to kind of access kind of ideas and how things are done in the Csua backend. So these are like kind of the documentation. I'm working on unifying it. Right now, the GitHub is really good for, GitHub is probably your best bet. And if you can't find it here, go to csua.org/rootwiki. So what are the benefits of joining root staff, right? So I gave you this long tutorial, probably should have led with the benefit instead of following it up, but that's okay. So first is that we have a really large impact relative to a lot of other kind of clubs, organizations, and such. Our services aren't just for our club, they're used by the public and other clubs and stuff like that. Our GPU cluster is used by a couple other clubs for their like machine learning projects, and our like web server and accounts is used by a lot of people to kind of host their own website. So that's I think a big plus. Second, it's great on a resume that you're building up something that's used in production that serves hundreds of users. That's like, clear impact. Third, you're learning like very essential skills for a lot of industry positions. And fourth, and I think what has been the most rewarding for me in the long run as a senior, is getting involved with the CS community broadly and the CSUA specifically, which I think is like, both have provided me a lot of value through my years here. So here are some of the kind of core projects that we want to address this semester. And that's kind of like the main thing I wanted to get through in this video. So if you have questions, want to talk to me about this or do anything like that, feel free to contact me through csua.slack.com, csua.org/discord, or any of that. So yeah, thank you.